team. And, well, that was not something they were able to do coming into their matchup today. But we're going to be going into point number 1 here on Oasis, as that is going to be our first map between 123 and Bazooka Puppies.
Good old Oasis. The best part about this map is that people get hit by cars.
Yes, especially when D.Va gets hit by a car, where we know that these cars are so incredibly tanky that they can take out a military war mech with ease.
I'm not prejudiced. I watch anyone get hit by a car. That's the world I live in right now. So pretty interesting stuff that we're going to open up this web. What's interesting is Bazooka Puppiez has been dominant on control with their 4-0 in Lijiang, 4-1 in Nepal in the last couple of months. Yet here we are on Oasis, where they don't necessarily have a whole lot of results as a kind of a newly formed team. So again, to see what they have here, do you see anything real interesting out of either of these compositions, ZP?
Right now, it seems like both teams are going to be playing this relatively straightforward. Both teams have options to dive into the other side, and both teams will be running a Zenyatta. So, of course, Overwatch does change over time. There's a point where every team would be running an Ana, but everyone's favorite Robo-Monk has been leading the way here, Hexes. Right now, both teams feeling each other out as the city center gets underway.
So we mentioned the all-star DPS players earlier today. You want to keep an eye on Mistakes. That will be the 1-2-3 or Red Tracer this round. And Ube, which will be the blue Genji for Bazooka Puppies. So Bazooka Puppies, Laser Kittens. Hopefully next week we have Machete Muskrats. A whole host of teams hopefully will adopt this naming convention.
The way it goes is that you find a cartoon animal from the 90s and then you attach a weapon to it, and that's your esports team. But right now, you take a look at this fight, Hex. Both teams are really being just cautious. Red team has their side, Bazooka Puppies has their other side, and neither really deep diving right now. This is very interesting.
Well, this is Oasis. We could be here on the first point for a bit as teams will start charging up the ultimates. Both Tracers about to have theirs, and they could be deciding the fight. Mistakes has been clutching pulse bombs today, not so far just yet. That one also hits the ground, but a little TVT action as Mistakes takes down his counterpart.
When you take down the other Tracer, you open up opportunities. Now 1-2-3, they're no longer being passive. They're starting to push into the Puppies, but the Puppies push right back. Ube building up a very quick Dragon Blade, making 2 kills, and oh!
Reflect, kill, Helix Rocket onto Denia. Denia is going to have a strongly worded letter for his buddy Snillo as he dies to his own soldier's rocket on a deflect.
Surely you're not going to deflect now. Actually, yeah, I am, Hex. Yes, I am. At least that was what Ube was saying there. And I'll note that this fight is still not over. This is the city center, and 1-2-3 is coming right back in. This could take a while.
We've just got that recorded somewhere. This fight is still not over. We'll be hitting that button often. We've got to save our voices a little bit. This is how Oasis plays out. It is Ilios to the next level, where the first cap's so hard to get, so hard to take, and still just waiting for it as teams continue to trade.
I mean, to that, oh no, Zenyatta, do not play in traffic. This is not where you want to go. I know Winston is a bad influence, but no. He's just going to fall down the other way to a few well-placed swipes, but this is still in contest. Neither team has gotten any progress here thus yet. It's been relatively even back and forth here, Hex, though.
The one better thing I will say for 1-2-3 so far is they're doing it with just pure mechanics and pure fights. The big moments that Bazooka Puppiez has had so far has been Ube's Dragon Blade, which got a couple, kept them back in a fight. Just there, you saw Mete get a self-destruct over the top, and we're going to take a look, I believe, at the Genji ult here. Yeah, this is Ube. He's slashing it up. This is just post-deflect as well, so you saw the carnage.
Indeed, and the interesting thing here is that so far, Kenzie has had a rough time in his matchup against Mistakes, and anytime as a Tracer, if you're not able to get through the Iron Wall, the other Tracer, which is appearing to be the case right now, it makes things very difficult. Nonetheless, Bazooka Puppiez coming back in, trying to get in on the point, but it's a slow process. 1-2-3, they're gonna buckle down. The sound barrier is in, and now they're just pushing into Puppies who are trying to come in from the outside.
Yeah, very good job there. They did end up using the Tactical Visor somewhere in here, but Tactical Visor's been getting so little lately. Bach is going to take down a couple. I mentioned how good these supports have been, and maybe he's no boombox, but who is? But Bach, a couple nice kills there.
One thing that's worth knowing, though, is that 1-2-3, they got their eyes off the prize in the middle of that. They did give up control, so that wasn't a total loss for Bazooka Puppies there. That's something you cannot do on City Center. You cannot give up the point for free when it's so incredibly hard to take to begin with. Luckily for 1-2-3, they made that fight decisive, but if it was anything less, Hex, it could have been very difficult.
Yeah, the economy has been so much better for 1-2-3 though. They're using single ults to win fights and have not relied on the giant ultimates from the other, as Bazooka Puppiez has as well. Next fight will commence, and here comes the Transcend out of box.
You see Rubicon coming right in, Transcendence out, and Bazooka Puppiez coming in, and they double down. Both support ultimates are out for the Puppies, as they don't have much time here, Hex. They need to make this fight successful. They are able to take down Snillo, but Rubicon, as soon as the Transcendence falls, he falls, and 1-2-3 is still making this close. The Sound Barrier comes in from them, and they're going to fight this one right back, where, again, if you're Bazooka Puppiez, Hex, how do you make this decisive?
It's been very difficult. I just don't like where Rubicon ended himself there. I mean, you know you have Transcend, that's fine, but you have to be judging it out. Ube is going to come in with the Giant Blade. He's been the saving grace for this team all day. Does get one and a mech, so 1.5 there. Not the Giant Blade they needed, though.
No, and I mean, it was a blade where he just had to use the blade alone, didn't have a whole lot supporting him with it, and he was just focused, fired down immediately. That said, the Puppies now are moving in and making this more of their fight, but again, it's just difficult because 1-2-3, even as they're losing, they're delaying it out. It's a Winston play of Tonic, backed up by the Tracer play of Mistakes, and Mistakes is still very healthy while darting in and around here, Hex, and it's been a big thorn in the side of the Bazooka Puppies.
It's a little bit strange that Bazooka didn't try to push that issue earlier. It was just a Lucio and Tracer just backing up and sitting out there waiting for them to come in on them, and they do end up getting out with their lives. Another reinforcement kill comes in from 1-2-3 as Snillo changes this around. I think they wait, though. You got to wait for Bakr here.
You do have to wait, and I think the other thing here, too, is that this could be very good for Bazooka Puppiez, where, sure, they've been on the losing end this entire time, but actually retaking this point is difficult, and the only time they did it earlier was in a fight they lost very poorly. Now, they have full control of the fight, good positioning. 1-2-3 is going to need to make the most of this Transcendence here if they want to pull this right back, and they need to be nearly flawless, so we'll see if they're able to do just that. But they get the early pickoff. The Sound Barrier is not in time to save Rubicon, and 1-2-3 has a real shot of pulling this one right back.
That's just a mismanagement there. Your Sound Barrier should keep your Zenyatta alive so that he can double down later with the Transcend, and now it's all going in favor. D.Va's out of the mix here. There goes the rest of their healing. A Pulse Bomb late from Kenzie might try to bring them back. They have relied so heavily on their ults this game as Bazooka Puppiez, and Ube gets nothing out of that blade. I didn't even know he had it out.
No, not in the least, and the problem is now, even though Rubicon has the Transcend out, he's not going to be able to transcend in. Taken down in support on support violence, and now 1-2-3, we'll see if they're able to make the most of this. Ube's going to fall, and they are looking dominant here on the point.
Couple kills come in there. It still is ticking up for Bazooka as they come in here. And yeah, as I've mentioned several times, they're relying on their ults, but now their ults have been expended. Maybe Rubicon finally gets his Transcend off.
Maybe this time will be the time, but both Divas exploding over the top. Rubicon going to feel himself in the iris, coming right back on. And we're in overtime, but this could still last a while. 1-2-3 is clearly in the driver's seat here, but with those 2 kills, is that going to be enough? Ube's coming in to try and pull this one back, but it is definitely not going to be enough. And 1-2-3 on the verge of taking this first round.
And they have flipped it back over unless Kenzie can find a miracle here. He's going to go for that Zenyatta, but does not see the monkey on his back behind him right there. Able to take him down as Tonic. Couple of kills. That's Oasis, folks. What was that, 15 minutes, one stage? It goes on for a while.
It can be a long time till you get the first captures we saw there.
Exactly.
Where both teams, it was very interesting because they didn't really want to go into each other very rapidly. They waited for that initial pickoff, and on the margins, it was Mistakes coming in, getting that first kill, and it was very crucial for 1-2-3 to get the momentum that they did.
Right. And that's our buddy right there. We give the people what they want, and we have asked it, and they want more left guy.
I mean, we leave them wanting for more.
Again, the big difference in why I'm starting to favor 1-2-3 in this matchup, and of course we're surprised that this was the matchup we're seeing. We're still learning about these teams as they go throughout the tournament. 1-2-3 seem more consistent in their mechanics, more consistent in their kills. It wasn't, we need a blade, we need a bob. They were just doing it on pure vanilla Overwatch.
The other thing too is that Bazooka Puppiez was a little bit sloppy in their ult usage there, where you had multiple cases where you'd have Clanton drop the Sound Barrier, but it would come right as someone died, and look at that, Bach channeling his inner boombox there, finds Kenzie immediately, and when your Zenyatta sets you up for a 6v5 hex, you know you're in for a good time.
It's that power play, as Monty called it earlier, and that's exactly what they get. They get a 65 right off the gate, and now it's going to be very difficult for them to bring it back. They do get a couple of kills during this, but it's simply not going to be enough. Now, can they deny it is the question. Does not seem so. This might be a very quick first cap, and for Oasis, yeah, that's blazing fast.
Well, part of that, too, is that what's one of the best heroes at moving around and delaying a point for Respawn to come back in?
Is it Tracer? I wasn't expecting a quiz. I was told there would not be a quiz today.
Oh, unfortunately, there is a quiz today. We have to make sure that everyone stays sharp, Hex.
I was told there would be no math. That's all I can rely on.
No, you were told that I wouldn't be doing the math because I would be terrible at it.
Yeah, well, I don't think we have a whole lot of mathematicians on our Overwatch casting team here. This fight will come in now. Just a little bit of poke there early on. Ube and Kenzie will combine to take down Tonic. These DPS are going to have big games.
Well, Transcendence is out here from 1-2-3. They don't want to give this up easily. And Mistakes still lurking in the backfield, has the pulse bomb, but Bazooka Puppies making their inroads here. Crucial kills coming in, and now it's really going to be up to Mistakes and Tonic to delay this for reinforcements to come back in, but this has felt far too decisive, and in fact, Puppies should be able to retake this rather quickly. They did.
It's not just the manner of kills you get, it's the speed in which you get them, and the triple kill that opened up this fight came out 1, 2, 3 right after another. See what I did there? And they were able to get all of those that they needed. And yeah, you have to kill quickly and decisively on this point, which is why I don't mind ever using a blade to get one at the end or a tactical visor at one at the end. It's the nature of how this map works.
Gotta get rid of the problem, and this time, 1-2-3, going through tight quarters. They use a sound barrier, but does not matter. D.Va doesn't care about your music taste, not when the explosion is right in your face.
She probably likes K-pop though, right? You would assume.
Why would you assume that? She's actually in the death metal.
Baby metal, probably.
All right.
I like baby metal. I have no shame about it. Anyway, they come in. They are able to get that back there. But again, it was a lot of just big plays, right? They needed the self-destruct from Mete over the top. They needed the blade from Ube there to get that back. And I don't know if you can keep up that kind of style throughout the course of a series. I'm willing to be surprised, as I already have been today. But again, that's why I would favor 1-2-3 so far.
My question here is, how does Mete deal with Snillo? Snillo has attack visor up. He's going to have to get himself in a good position, but that is bad for the Puppies. Kenzie dives in, gets tinnitus, ends up falling, and now the flankers for the Puppies are both going to be going down, and they didn't get a whole lot of support there, Hex.
Meta's been punching people, Meza rather, has been punching people to death and his Primal Rage. He got both supports during those fighting move combinations. Still, the clock ticks up here as Kodak tries to get on the point. Still a little scrappy on here on Gardens, but Snillo does pop the visor on the cleanup.
There's no one left to check Mistakes. Both of the flanking DPS were down. You couldn't have Kenzie go back into Mistakes. He's been free to come in here and treat it as his playground. The problem is that even though 1-2-3 is starting to gain momentum, you have reinforcements coming back in from the Puppies. It is very difficult to retake control of this point, and even as 1-2-3 is starting to dominate here, you don't know how long it's going to be until they can actually retake this if they do.
They should be able to get it back now, but 99% puts Bazooka Puppies in position to be able to win one decisive fight and take it back. This is how they won fights all day so far. Self-destruct, Dragon Blade, both about to be ready. No support ultimates up for them though, and they're going to be pushing in to 2 support ultimates on 1-2-3. Both Dinia and Bach about to arrive.
Indeed, and now the question is for 1-2-3, are they going to be able to Transcend to stay alive? Ube just getting the free ult charge, Dragon Blade up and at the ready. Now, he's the man of the hour here, and this is a lot of people in a tight corridor. The problem is that he knows the Transcendence is up, so he doesn't just want a blade in there. He has to wait. He must be patient.
Has to be very careful there. They're just looking for their openings, meanwhile taking pressure onto the point, but Mete out of this now. The blade does come out from Ube, goes in very low. Sound Barrier saves his life. Beautiful Sound Barrier.
Sound Barrier comes out, and that is what Ube was afraid of, but he had the blade forced out of him. That said, it still worked out really well for Puppies. It forced the support out to 1-2-3. They're in a rough position, and the Puppies are well on their way to flipping this point right back. They almost have it. They're going to get here in overtime. And now for 1-2-3. The question is, how long can they delay as Tonic is already under fire?
They went all in there, so they had to win that fight. And though the blade was not the thing that showed up in the kill feed, it softened up a lot of targets through their beautiful closeout ultimate there for Meza to come in with the Primal Rage at the end, knock them off the point to flip it over, and then get the kills there too.
Do you realize how much self-control it must have taken for Ube not to just bring out that blade immediately when you saw 4 people in a clustered area?
Yeah, I think the one thing that probably set it off, you mentioned they had Transcenda, but there was also a biofield on the ground too. And like anytime you see a source of healing as a Dragon Blade, it just kind of turns you away. So good patience there, got out, almost actually got sniped off there. So that is actually something I think his game has improved. I think watching Genji, or watching Ube rather, earlier today on the Genji, he has been more patient. He has not had those super ambitious blades of 12 HP, here comes the blade anyway, and it's paid dividends for him.
The key is for Overwatch is that you can lessen some of the risks you take to make yourself more consistent. You might not have as many gigantic plays, but you don't need gigantic plays all the time. You just need consistent production, and Ube so far today has been great, whether it be in this series or earlier in the day in the upset victory over Misfits.
Well, a little bit of a switch up here as 123 will be running a Soldier 76 as their second APS, and Ube will stay on the Genji, of course. Other than that, mirrored compositions.
Ube right now just poking for damage. Probably not expecting to get too much in the way of kills, but being a threat in the backline. Oh, that is a kill that he's going to go for. The Discorded Zed, a beefy target, but he's not able to finish it. The support was there, and Ube gets pushed out. So very even so far between both teams. 1-2-3 now making inroads. They get rid of the dive of Ube and Meza, and now they can really start pushing the puppies out.
Bach is a somewhat of a terrifying Zen to go in on. Very smart, was able to react quickly there. Also was, I think his Lucio was up there helping him out. I think that's where the boop came in, and there was a Soldier 76 up there, so the healing was going to come in. It was really nice to play with each other and play around each other's strengths right there. As you mentioned, a quick first cap for 1-2-3 as they set up. Mistakes got that pulse bomb lurking.
And this is where a Tracer can really set the tone of a match, especially on University, where you gotta think Mistakes is gonna be going to the back line, looking for early pulse bombs to win fights before they even begin. We've seen Tracers take over on this stage in this tournament alone, but here comes Bazooka Puppies. They're gonna dive really deep here, off of the Transcends from Rubicon, but they get 0 kills off in 1-2-3. They're gonna drop a support ult of their own and come right back in.
That is the Ube that's rolling ones on that dice. He just busts it out. He's completely targeted down, gets 0 on that Dragon Blade. If there was a number lower than 0, that's what I'd score that one. That was tough.
If you had to turn Yogg Saron into a Overwatch player, would you turn him into Ube? Is that fair?
Don't remind me of Yogg. It's been a tough Hearthstone month for me too.
I mean, it's been a tough month for me because you're not playing in the back anymore. That used to be my entertainment where I didn't care about your games. I just cared when you played Yogg.
No, I'm playing Silence Priest, and anyone who plays Hearthstone just knows what that says about me right now.
That just means you're a terrible person, and I don't even know why I'm next to you.
Pretty much. Regardless, 67% ticking up here. 1-2-3's done a great job with their economy. They're going to have Transcend. They've got a couple of ults to use, and Bazooka Puppies is going to have to rely on Giant over the top. Here comes the self-destruct. Been good for them so far.
Well, it's not the 4th of July yet, but both teams doing their best impression. Fireworks going off, but the dust settles. 1-2-3 getting the better of this engage here so far. And this is bad news bears for Bazooka Puppies, Hex, because they desperately need to retake this now. 1-2-3 at 90%. It's still a very even fight, but with Tonic popping Primal Rage, he's going to be able to zone out the last few people. And now it is desperation time for Bazooka Puppies if they want to add another round to their total here on Oasis.
I feel like the supports are just starting to feel bad for the Tracers. They're intentionally walking over Pulse Bombs because it's been a rather not great day for Pulse Bombs so far. The continuation cleanup is there as Snilla will take out the Visor. Very difficult for Bazooka to have a chance here. They've got some tanks on the point, but Ube's going to have a bigger blade than that. He does not.
Well, we talked about Mistakes for 1-2-3 coming in, and while he's been great, Snillo has been remarkably consistent. Just very solid play from the back line. Nothing flashy, but getting in good damage. And even as people get worn down, he's there to finish off the kills. So there are multiple stories on this 1-2-3 team, and Snillo, thus far, certainly impressing.
You know that that's the kind of 76 play I like. I used a lot of expletives yesterday to describe what some problems are I have with 76s who run around the map, go for giant hero plays. Your job is to stay alive and be the consistent source of damage. And Snillo here gets his tack visor up late, able to get the cleanup there, finds Winston in a hidey hole. We'll spook him out of there. Now, 1-2-3 is one stage away from taking Oasis, which would be enormous for them. As I mentioned, Bazooka Puppies was very good on control, not this map in particular, but as a game mode. And conversely, I believe 1-2-3 is also very good on assault, so they're setting themselves up for glory here.
Let's just reiterate the stakes. If 1-2-3 is able to win the series, they are in the finals of Season 0 as an unsponsored team. That is massive. So
yeah.
In terms of just promoting players, 1-2-3 is going with that goal and more. But now both teams, Hex, we saw them dance around a lot the first time around, and the second time around, they're still doing the tango. They are not engaging as heavily as you might expect.
It seems both teams are waiting for their tracers to do something. That's kind of how the first fight went. This went on long enough that both tracers had pulse bombs early, and they both tried to hit them early on, but still, just playing the poke war. This has been a non-dive dive comp.
This is very interesting. Usually one team takes the lead, as any dancing partner would like to see, but in this case, both teams being very conservative. Neither team wants to give up the first pickup here, and again, this is just an interesting exchange from two teams that clearly have similar ideas of playing this, but Tonic, a little bit far deep. Team's going to be losing some of their tank support, but the ultimates are coming in here. 1-2-3 drops the barrier, but they drop the bomb as well. Barriers and bombs galore, and 1-2-3 still very much in this team fight.
I thought it was the bombs and blades metas. These barriers are really screwing it up. I was going for another B word. I can't. It's way too early for me right now. My brain is not turned on just yet. And that is a lot of kills, but still, despite that, it's not enough. Another visor is going to come out looking for the cleanup as Snillo just ignores the Winston overhead, goes right through, takes out both supports.
That's beautiful timing coming in from Snillo, where he knew that the defensive matrix wouldn't be in his face if he used it then, goes up and casually guns down 3 people for an easy take for 1-2-3, and that's just good timing coming out. So 1-2-3 doing pretty well here so far.
It's largely been about ultimate value for both of these teams. Bazooka Puppiez on occasion getting big plays, but that's what they've been kind of hanging their hat on. Meanwhile, 1-2-3 is making it look easy. There is going to be a Dragon Blade from Ube. Nothing to really combo with it, though. Maybe you do a self-destruct and then come in after.
Ube's freelancing right now. The rest of his team is coming up the gut. He was creeping around the side, but almost just dies from the focus fire on him from that. He has to wait a little bit. Dragon Blade, though, still in reserve. While this is going on, Rubicon gets a monkey in his face, and that is going to make things rather tough here for the Puppies, and Ube, rather wisely, holds on to the blade.
I wonder if Rubicon's having a tougher time because Ube's on the Genji and they don't necessarily have a 76, because a 76 by nature is going to be closer to your supports in the back, and he's going to be that ever-present threat. Rubicon's been picked off a lot this game, and I think a lot of it is because he's somewhat alone back there.
I don't feel like he's been getting the greatest support. I also feel like he has been trying to tunnel Ube, and it has been working out, but sometimes that brings you to dark places, and that time around, he did not have positioning to get out. Either way, Ube holding on to the blade. The next fight soon to be underway. He's going to the air, the blade is out, and he goes immediately in the Snillo. It's a quick strike. It could be what Bazooka Puppy needs to move in and take this point.
It was a great combination on the dive because they also hit the pulse bomb there at the exact same time. They will get a third kill off of this too, but there's been some nice play on the ground from 1-2-3 to bring this back in their favor. Again, even if they lose this fight and control the point, they're at 90%, but I don't think they have any idea that giving up now. Snillo comes in again, takes down Clanton with a Helix.
Indeed, and the thing that's going on here is that even though it was a nice opening from Bazooka Puppies, it was not decisive enough, and that...
He didn't know where it was.
That might be enough.
He didn't know where it was. That was tragic to watch, Brad. He just did not know where the bomb was going to come up over top, unable to do so. Still unable to flip it back over, but it's time, I think, for 1-2-3 to just regroup. There's really no reason to stall this out anymore unless you're going to win the fight.
Well, for 1-2-3, you do hit a point where you've hit 99%, and if your stall attempts are half-hearted, all you're going to be doing is feeding ultimate to Bazooka Puppies and giving them the potential of having the ult economy of bringing this right back. So, as you mentioned, you gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them, and that was a fold time there for 1-2-3.
The Gambler.
No one's playing Gambler McCree anymore.
Unfortunately, I liked Banana McCree, personally. I know, I think I liked it more because you hated it so much.
No, I actually, that skin puts me on tilt.
I know, I love it.
I can't stand that skin.
I love it. Play Banana McCree against ZP. That's been my motto for a long time.
I'll just smash my keyboard like other notable streamers. Like, it'll go directly to my face.
Yeah. Kenzie starts it up, takes out Snillo, who had Tactical Visor ready to go. That's really going to hurt this next push, and you have to wonder if maybe now's the time to just get out. I don't want to see them use any ults. Oh no, the Transcendence comes in.
Well, 1-2-3 is certainly doubling down on this. They do have outs here in this fight, so they're trying to make space with the support ult, but again,
He's been crushing
Mete
is
dropping it.
Yeah, he's been crushing it with these self-destructs, and it's an ult that's zoning ults, which we use unironically when describing self-destruct, but he's gotten 2 and 3 kills several times with that.
It's been very good, and Mete has been the rock for Bazooka Puppiez here, where even when you might think a fight was going badly, 1-2-3 is coming in with a whole ult bank of their own. Boom. There goes Dynamite, there goes D.Va ult, and now Bazooka Puppiez with the potential in a few more fights of forcing a round number 5. So 1-2-3, they still have an advantage here, but if they don't take the point off of this advantage, it's going to be very tough for them.
That's a lot of check marks. The problem is they would have liked to have that Transcend, I think, for this next fight too, just to give them a little more staying power. But they have Sound Barrier trying to find an angle here. Sound Barrier and Tactical Visor likely coming out maybe after Kodak launches in his self-destruct of his own.
Oh, Kodak right now is waiting for it. Maybe we'll have an episode of anything you can do, I can do better. But with Tonic going down immediately, this is tough for 1-2-3. They had a big ult advantage coming in, and now they're going to double down and use those ultimates even after losing one early on because they don't have a choice. The progress demands it. It's still going decent for them despite the loss of Tonic. It's Snillo with the 3K, just rolling around the backside. No pressure on him at all, and suddenly 1-2-3 might have just pulled this one back.
They did just that. All the ultimate usage was in the correct place. Despite losing Tonic early, they were able to respond immediately with a pulse bomb onto Rubicon, who has been picked on this entire match. And you saw a lot of the time, what you saw there late was Kodak coming back with Defense Matrix to make sure that his Zenyatta is alive. Mete deserves this. He's been nailing self-destructs all day. You can't ask for a better one than that. It takes down both supports, but they've been so reliant on that the rest of their play is really revolved around Mete hitting self-destructs, and that's not a strategy that you can rely on consistently.
Mete played at a level that should have won them the game if everyone else was playing at Mete's level, but frankly, they weren't. It was a rather rough game coming out from Kenzie, and you sort of mentioned it early on, but I would say in general, the key difference between the two teams is that 1-2-3 was just playing mechanically more solid across the board, D.Va notwithstanding.
Well, and not only that, but they were thriving in those grouped up fights where they could all contribute to the kills, and you were seeing all of them in that kill feed, and maybe that was also why those self-destructs were finding more impact, is because well, everyone was in the same spot, but he was very perfectly timing those and hitting those, and yet they were still ending up losing fights. They just weren't able to get the DPS to actually pull those back in their favor. And I just want to talk about 1-2-3. They had multiple threats. I mean, look at Snillo. You talk about 76s, and we've had questions, and I know ZP, we talked about this. You know, like, what is this, the sign of a good 76? Because they're all going to lay down that damage. They're all going to bust down shields. They're all going to get that high ground. But it's the players that are able to actually pull those close fights back.
Well, a key thing for Snillo is that when you get opportunities that you see, say, Lucio in front of you, do you do enough damage to take him out outright without a visor? Or is it a case where you let him get away at a little bit of HP and he ends up healing, coming back in? What we were seeing from Snillo is that Snillo was able to finish kills, especially towards the ends of fights. And part of that was Mistakes was softening them up into the back line, but he was playing remarkably solid, and frankly, I don't think it was really